Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Coming to Resolution. We need to address something again. I've said it a couple of times in other videos before, but I saw a tweet about this today. Let me pull it up. Let me quote the tweet. The tweet says, "You're a man. Stop telling people what you're going through, no matter how stressful it is. Solve your problems alone. Sympathy is only for women and kids, not for men." My response was, this doesn't work. This is what leads men to suicide. If you didn't know, men take up 80% of all suicides. We don't get a support system. All of our shit and everything else in our worlds fall on our shoulders. You want to see a motivated man? Tell him you love him and appreciate him. Now let's just talk about the tweet first. Okay. Um to have the kind of mentality for men to genuinely believe that people don't give a shit, period, and we're only supposed to suck it up and dry our tears and get back to work, that doesn't work. That that is a big problem. That leads a lot of men to suicide. I I I don't know how we're still even thinking about this in this way. I don't care if it's a bait tweet. I give zero fucks. The fact that it's out there is enough for me to question why it's even a thought. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it because I have been the man who had no support system and who had to deal with all of his shit and everyone else's in my world at the same time, as well as go to work and deal with my own mental issues all at the same time, right? I about fucking broke because I had no one there to even like, hey, I see you, I appreciate you, I love you. Nothing. I got the occasional I love you from my dad whenever we spoke on the phone, or my sister, or my mom, but like it was me and my family, we speak, but it's not like a daily basis, it's not like a weekly basis, it's like a, hey, how are you? Haven't heard from you in a while kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I am not the kind of person who I haven't spoken to you in 3 weeks. Let me just dump all this shit on you. So I never talked about it. I didn't have anybody there who gave a shit to listen about my struggles anyway. There was none of that for me. And it about fucking broke me. I about became a shell of a man. When I was dealing with this, whenever I was that man who was living the existence that we're talking about today, I couldn't tell you how many times I sat in my car and like debated just driving back towards the highway and trying to find a semi to run my car into. I can't tell you how many times I sat. My fucking hair is about to piss me off. I can't tell you how many times I sat in my car or sat in my room alone questioning what the fuck I'm even doing with my life and what am I doing all of this for? What am I doing? You know what I mean? Like I had that question going on a lot. Like what the fuck am I doing? Why am I even here? Why? What is this for? And it took a long time to break that. I had to learn to appreciate myself and do things for me, and that helped. That helped a lot because to um I was able to validate myself in my own brain. Like I didn't have to go post about what I was struggling with. Like I write lyrics and I post that shit, but I didn't have to do any of that. When I finally got people in my life who would not necessarily like, I don't want to say sympathize, but like they understood, that helped a lot. And just knowing that people can understand and people are willing to listen, that helped a lot. Um, but just the going through the day to day and dealing with all of my own shit and everyone around me shit and household shit like that, and I couldn't talk about any of it, especially my own personal shit, because like, who was I going to talk to about that? Truthfully, I should have tried to give therapy another shot, but I didn't do that. um don't follow my example in that regard. If 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 you have no one to speak to, and you have no real like support system, I strongly recommend you go to therapy and just have someone to talk to, because that will help. Talking about it really does help. When those people finally came into my life, it helped a lot. I was able to kind of get through the days easier just because I knew there were people who wanted to listen, who cared to listen. And even if they had no kind of solution for me, even if there was nothing that they could do for me, I don't talk about shit so people can do things for me anyway, but that was one of those things where it was really helpful, just for the simple fact that I knew people were there. And that's the reality of it. If you have people in your life, there are going to be people in your life who give a shit and who want to listen, even if even if it's something that you think is absolutely stupid to bitch about, but it's like really eating at you, it's worth talking about. You know what I mean? This whole this whole dry your tears and get back to work and don't talk about shit with anybody doesn't work. That leads most of us to killing ourselves. There's a lot of other factors that might go into that, but that is a that is a real quick way to do it. That is a real quick way to break somebody. And if you haven't been tested like that, if you haven't been the person who had no kind of support, man or not, if you had no kind of support in a long time period in your life, and you had to learn to do things for you, and you couldn't get through the day without questioning what the fuck you're even doing here, then I don't want to see, well, just suck it up. I don't want to see man up. I don't want to see any of that shit. Because if you haven't lived that existence, it is a soul crushing existence. First of all, that is the kind of existence that will drive anybody insane, and not like manic insane, but like I'm done with this. This is the end for me. It's heartbreaking, and that kind of existence isn't fucking worth it. It's not. Your life is incredibly valuable because you had a 400 and something trillion. You were one out of 400 and something trillion to even be like conceived. One out of 400 trillion, and you're the one here. You were the one born. It's kind of hard to beat the math there. I don't give a fuck what your faith is. I don't care what religion you follow. I don't care. I give zero fucks, but like, you can't debate that math. When we feel worthless, when we feel like it doesn't matter what we do, that is, for lack of a better term, that is the enemy inside of your own head, and everybody has them. But it is a common occurrence that everybody deals with. I'm not worth shit. Why am I here? What? I didn't ask to be here. Like, I've said a lot of that shit before, and sometimes I still struggle with those thoughts. But I know now to snap myself the fuck out of it, because I have a future that I want, and I have a future that I will kill myself to build. I have things that I want to do with my life, this included, and I'm not going to let my inner negative self-talk stop me from doing that. Because that's essentially what that comes down to, is it's internal negative self-talk. And when we are dealing with that, it can become such a major issue, and it affects a whole lot of things in the brain, especially because we are conditioning ourselves to believe that we are not shit. When men are dealing with this and we try to talk about it and it goes unheard, or we are told to shut the fuck up and deal with it like everybody else, then it becomes a deeper issue, because now we have to stuff it back down there and we have to bottle things up. I'm going to use an overused analogy, but let's take a full soda bottle, right? You shake that motherfucker up. Shake it, shake it, shake it. What happens the moment you unscrew that lid? The moment it explodes. The bottle of soda is no longer a full bottle of soda. It is fizz all over the floor, your hands, whatever the fuck is around it, right? Because it just exploded. That's what ends up happening sometimes on a really bad scale when we have to bottle up our emotions. That goes for just people, but like in this specific case, we're talking about men. When we have to bottle things up and we have to just go through day to day dealing with literally everything imaginable on our own, we can't talk about it or get any kind of support from anybody, then when that one day comes where we just can't take it anymore, a lot of men will react with anger. Outwardly, it is outward anger, and destroy things or say things they don't mean to the people they love. Sometimes even burn bridges. A lot of other men decide that that's enough, and suicide ensues. Neither of those are good options. Okay? When we go and feel like we aren't shit, and we are also struggling with the thoughts of we aren't shit, and nobody is helping us feel like we are valuable at all, then day to day gets harder and harder as we go. There's no way to avoid it. It just gets real fucking hard, and it just keeps getting harder. There are certain things that I am absolutely okay with struggling with when it comes to reaching a goal. When it comes to my own mental stability, I am not okay with struggling because I'm not being heard. If I want to talk about something, I'm going to talk about something. If I need to just feel affection, that's what I'm going to say. I need to feel affection. I need to feel like I'm loved and appreciated. I don't want to just go to bed sad as fuck because I can't go to anybody about it, and then wake up the next morning with a headache because now I'm depressed. And then whenever I get depressed, it turns into anger because I'm angry that I'm depressed in the first place. It's a cycle that I'm not okay with. That is not the kind of struggle I'm okay with. I don't allow that for me anymore. Whether that be I need to handle something, or I need to talk about something, or I need to feel like I'm valuable to the people I care to be valuable to, then that's what's going to happen. That's what I'm going to ask for. We all need to be okay with doing this. We need to be okay with communicating, hey, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I need. Doesn't matter if you think you're going to ruin a day. If you are having a day where it feels like nothing that you do or you even being here matters. Doesn't fucking matter. If you happen to bring the mood down with you, but like between you and your woman, it doesn't fucking matter. Your woman, if you chose a good woman, is going to take the time to make sure that you feel loved and is going to make sure that you feel appreciated and do whatever the fuck it is that you need her to do in that moment. Let's say your support system is a group of friends, a group of unrelated brothers, right? Those guys are going to answer the phone at 2 o'clock in the morning and they're going to talk to you. Let's problem solve and let's get through this shit together, right? That's how that's going to go. If you chose good people in your life, that's what's going to happen. It is okay to talk about the shit. It is okay to bring it to people's attention that you are feeling a certain way and you need something. It is not okay to go through the day-to-day and make life harder on yourself because you believe that nobody actually gives a shit. I have struggled my entire life with that. I have scars everywhere. I mean everywhere. From moments of feeling like I didn't fucking matter. From moments of if I wasn't here, then I feel like I would just be benefiting other people because I'm no longer here. That's not the truth either. But I have the scars to prove that I dealt with that shit, and I really tried to take myself the fuck out, and it didn't work. I was not successful, clearly. When I look at those scars now, it's like I am remembering where I came from. I'm remembering the struggle that I was facing and how much further I've come now. And I'm not bullshitting when I say they're everywhere. They are fucking everywhere. So it's kind of hard for me not to see them. You know? Doesn't matter what part of me is showing. There's a scar somewhere for me to see. It could be on my knuckles. It could be that, I mean, that's just from punching shit, but everywhere. I've got them. I did this. I've been through this. Do not allow the people in your life or even people on social media to make you believe that you don't matter, that your feelings don't matter. Because that is the mentality that is going to kill every single one of us if we continue to allow it to happen. Especially since the past, I don't even know how fucking long, it's been too long, people are okay with shitting on us on the internet. Us men. They're just totally okay with shitting on us for no fucking reason. And to someone like me who has been through the shit and kind of was able to learn, it bothers me to an extent. I don't allow it to get to a certain point now because I know who I am and I know what I'm working for. I know what my goals are and how I'm going to get there. When I didn't know, when I had no fucking idea about any of that shit, that would have been a major problem. I was getting shit on anyway, but just men in general, that was new for me whenever probably about 2 years ago is whenever I first started seeing it. And that was a new one for me. I had to learn not to allow that shit to affect me past a certain point. Anyway, I digress. Men, you cannot allow social media or the people in your life to make you feel like you are fucking worthless. Chances are You're already dealing with something like that anyway. Are you really going to allow other people to make you feel like that? Two things, one of two things need to happen in that certain situation. You need to communicate effectively, or if that doesn't work, you need to cut them the fuck off. No more of that person. No more of those people. You see something on social media that just really bothers you, and it's just essentially that mindset of it doesn't fucking matter. There's a mute or a block button for a reason. Do the fuck not allow these people to make you feel like you are anything but you. Just don't. That if you are already on this road, then you know. If you haven't been on this road, it is a long and dark road. That is a road that I never want to be on again. That is an existence that will turn you into a different person. You will no longer be the same kind of person if you continue down with that existence. It is soul crushing and it is heartbreaking. And if you're already living that, I suggest you get the fuck off of that road. However you need to do that in a constructive way, you need to make it happen. The only one you can control is you, and you can control the road that you're on. You can control what you allow in your life. You can control even what's on your social media to a certain extent. I feel like there's a lot of shit that I've said I'm not interested in or muted or blocked or whatever. And the same kind of shit shows up. So like learn to not allow that kind of shit to affect you past a certain point. You're here for a reason. What that reason is up to you to figure out. But you're here for a reason. And if you're going to make it to an old, decrepit age, then you need to get the fuck away from that mindset of we don't fucking matter. Because we do. We have value outside of using our hands for someone else or doing things for other people. We have value. And I'm not talking like this Andrew Tate bullshit. That guy, don't even get me fucking started. But like that kind of mentality is not okay either. It's just a matter of what you're going to do and what you're going to allow. I suggest going the constructive way in order to deal with your own emotions and learn to be okay with communicating with your people. Whether that be your woman, whether that be your group of friends, you have family, whatever. Learn to be okay with communicating with those people. If someone in those 3 groups that I just gave an example of isn't going to listen, choose someone else to talk to. It's okay to do that. That's all I have for that one. I just needed to get that off of my chest today because that tweet just rubbed me all the wrong way, and I'm not okay with anybody believing that that's the case. If nobody is going to be the change, we are going to be the change. I said in the Men's Mental Health Matters video that I want to see change. We're going to be that fucking change. We're going to do that. That's all I have for that one. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.